No, that's
But
I
at least
think
they'll have that, right? They'll have experiences to tell you.
they'll have experiences, but at the end of the day, Marco, look, I can't get mad at the blue check guy for swooping in, DMing the girl, and having her come out to her boat, to his boat, and then throwing a
Because
party
that
around.
guy, right? That guy has worked probably his entire life or whatever,
Harder than what
just
we
so
can
he
even
can
imagine.
get. So think about it, man.
Exactly.
His ambitions, right, were just simply to get pussy,
Exactly.
just to
That's
get
it.
bitches.
And
There was no other ambition other than
and how
getting bitches, man.
do you? I mean, it's easy to see as a younger guy how a younger guy gets mad at that. Well, it's not fair. No, it's just the law of primes kind of taking its turn on each other. All right. Here's a very very smart quote that I want you to remember this when you think about women. I want our viewers to remember this as well. Tomorrow's women are for today's men, and today's women are for yesterday's men, and that cycle just keeps on going. So the young or mid 20-year-old man, you're primed for tomorrow's women because that's when you'll be in your prime. That's when you can do the whole 1 to 2 DMs and get her on your boat, get her on your jet ski, get her on your party, whatever, right? But today's women are for yesterday's men. So women who are my age are not for women who are not for men who are my age. They are for older men.
Vicious cycle is.
As a young man, you get mad at that.
But that is what's going to separate you, right? That's where the frustration is. What am I gonna do to get this chick's attention? What do I gotta do? So then what happens? Just like you were talking about, they go and they, go establish some form of social and economic status so they can get the girl.
Right.
Because listen, man, a lot of fuckers out there are born unfortunate, dude.
Oh yes.
If you are ugly in this world, dude, you're gonna have it pretty fucking bad.
Oh yeah.
Now, even if you're an attractive dude, it might be hard, but things will be easier.
Attractive faces go places.
They do.
And that
male,
is,
whether you're a male or a female.
And that's 100% true. Like it will be easier for you if you're attractive. However, I will say, as a man, that you can't sit there and say, well, I'm an attractive young man, I'm going to rely on that. No, that's not going to cut it. You
need more than that, man.
You need more
because
than that.
These chicks, man, what happens is in their prime, they date so many men, or they're around so many boys, so many men. They see all different types of men, all different types. So if they meet you, they're already going to know what type of guy you are. Women aren't stupid, man.
Absolutely.
They could be OnlyFans bimbos. They could be Instagram hoes. It doesn't matter, man. They are not dumb. A woman's intuition is something that you can't fuck around with.
That's true. But here's a very good point on that. I want to bring this into the talk too. I've said this to a couple of guys and they laugh, and it's 100% true. So a woman's bullshit radar, which is what I would call that, right? Which is how women can sniff out bullshit from a mile and a minute away, as the saying goes, right?
Yeah.
A woman's bullshit radar is equal to a man's hodor. So remember how we talked about how we can tell when a chick has been easy? There are certain subtle cues.
Yeah.
That is the same thing. And I want chicks to really understand that if you think you're going to be, everywhere, essentially, you're going to be a hoe in your early 20s in your prime, and men are not going to be able to see that about you later in life, that's 100% inaccurate. A man can come to grasp and say, okay, you've changed your ways, right? You haven't acted like that in a while. And that's all fine and dandy. But you are never going to be able to pull the wool over a man's eyes that that's how you were at one point. A man can tell that straight away.
Absolutely. Well, I think you kind of skipped. I guess we got too much into this. You kind of skipped the intro.
We're riffing.
Yeah, I guess it's good.
We did kind of skip the intro. Welcome to the second episode of Duality, Mental Health, with CJ and Marco. We got off a little early today. So first thing, glad you kind of pulled us back there. First thing, I want to say a big thank you from both of us to everyone who has just commented, liked, subscribed across YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. We really thank y'all. That is the reason why we do these videos. That is the reason why we have these talks. And we appreciate the acknowledgement wholeheartedly. So thank you from both me and my co-host, Marco. This is episode number 2. As you can tell, we have gotten into a little bit of dating advice concerning the law of primes.
CJ, so why don't you tell the audience what exactly is this law of primes that you're about to cover?
Oh, you're good, Marco. So law of primes is very, very simple, man. It's the difference in age in prime age between a woman and a man. A woman's prime age in terms of when she can attract the most mates is about 18 through 25. A man is about, give or take 3 years, 35 to 45, essentially. And so, how we can go into that is how both sexes are essentially expected to act during their prime age, during their prime season, right? So, a woman and kind of the entire Western idea is it's okay for you to have fun in your 20s, but from my perspective and in retrospect, that is merely aimed more or less at women, not at men. And the
Yeah.
reason is because that's when they're in their prime season. They can attract the most amount of mates.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what we were talking about before, right? Men who are in their early 20s, even if you're attractive, even
Yeah.
if you do have something going for you, you have business
Yeah.
on the side, you're working a couple extra jobs, you're making a little bit more money, right? It's not impressive to a woman your age. And you shouldn't be mad at the woman for that. You want to know why? Because as you see as a man in your early 30s, is sometimes I even see when I dip my toes into dating women my age, right? Women my age, they're seeing guys who are married. They're seeing guys who own houses on the golf course. They're seeing guys who at least maybe not a yacht, but own a boat and can
Hmm.
go out on Lake Ray Hubbard and take them with them and their friends. So you as a man, even though you're burning that midnight oil, even though you're working 70 to 80 hours a week, guess what? It's not that impressive. You're still not even part of the six-figure
But it
club,
seems
you
like
know?
they're impressed by frivolous shit,
Oh, of course.
yachts, and
Of
it's a bunch
course.
of materialistic drivel.
Of course.
There's no kind
100%.
of
There's no value.
development. There's no
There's no
value
value.
in what they're looking for.
There's no.
So honestly, though, this
Mhm,
high dollar man, right? It
mhm.
just seems like a valueless man to me.
It is.
Because
It is.
the ambitions that you're trying to use as a man, you're trying
Mhm,
to get bitches, man. It's
mhm.
cool if that's your ambition, right? But be honest with yourself at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Like, what are your true ambitions?
Mhm.
And if it's just to chase skirts, that's okay, but don't lie to yourself.
Oh,
You know what I
100%.
mean? Like, be
100%.
honest with yourself with what you want. If you're a real like top G or you're a real fucking dude, like, hey, you can have some finances. You have your shit in order.
Right.
And that's what I think really also not just attracts like females, but attracts anybody to you really.
Absolutely.
It's the way that you have it together.
It's
And whether a man is in his prime or not, this is kind of the kind of shit that society pressures us, right? You have
mhm,
women in their prime, men in their, and then we have us when we're in our prime. But ultimately, though, right? A man's journey, a woman is already told how valuable she is. A man
absolutely.
has to find his value in
Absolutely.
his life.
Mhm,
And that's why I believe, dude, we fuck around with, we fuck off what? Most of our adult life, all throughout our 20s and maybe about our fucking early, mid 30s.
mhm.
So that's why a man essentially peaks because he's been through all the bullshit. He's been through all the rejection. He's ready to fucking, if
You
he's
think
real ambitious, he'll already have established himself at an earlier time,
mhm.
but he'll be fucking, by the time
But
he'll be within that prime
Yeah,
age of
exactly.
35 to 45,
Exactly.
where it's like, bitch, look at
Exactly.
me. I got all my finances in order. I got
I got the
bitches,
house, I got the
you
car, I
know.
got the boat. I don't
But
have
it also
kids.
solely,
I,
but it
mhm.
also solely relies on the individual.
Absolutely. It 100% comes back down to the
And the
individual.
problem,
That's
though,
what you can't
CJ,
forget.
the problem with all this bullshit is we're social media, bro.
Yeah.
Think about it, man. We're on here all the time. We see people live, you got the Dan Blazarians of the world. Like,
Mhm.
no, not trying to like spread any hatred out there, trying to name drop anyone particularly, but he's a good
Mhm.
example to use because he goes out there, he's on fucking boats.
Oh yeah.
He's the whole
Like
epitome of the song Boats and Hoes, right?
oh yeah.
Like he's
20
showing
chicks with
you
him.
a lifestyle. And I don't want to come off as some hater, man, more power to him. But like it's no different than Kim Kardashian or Cardi
That's
B, the
true.
ones that are so the Dan Blazarians of the world or I
But
know right
let's
now his name's a little controversial, but Andrew Tate's of the world, right? Like
absolutely.
they're giving you a glimpse of this lifestyle that they, already have.
Hold on. I want to make a sub point on that though. Let's get into this though. How is Kim Kardashian? How is Cardi B? How is Meg the Stallion looked at in the eyes of the
I'll
public?
tell you one thing: all
They're
three of them
well.
bimbos got in common,
Oh,
CJ,
we all know this. They're fucking hoes and they're nasty as
and
shit.
that's how they got famous.
But let's get past that. How is it looked at by society? It's okay. It's cool. When you look at Dan Blazarian, Andrew Tate, yes, they are controversial for other reasons other than the lifestyle that
Yeah,
they display. Yeah, that's 100% true. But they are always demonized way more than Kim Kardashian, who got famous off of doing porn, mind you, with Ray J, who
yeah. Here's
you
the
know
thing, though, CJ. I think any sensible person though don't essentially have respect for people like that.
Well, no,
I
no.
mean,
I
but
mean,
because it's in the media, right? I mean, the media always has, man, they're always biased about something. They have
of
a
course,
bias. They
of
get
course.
bought out by politicians or a
Hmm.
certain side or whatever. So they're going to push a narrative.
Of course.
And right now, the narrative is pro woman everything,
Yeah.
right? If you don't, if you
Believe
think,
all women,
like, you know,
essentially.
like right now, there's probably people maybe watching this podcast that think you're a fucking misogynist for saying such a fucking vile thing.
Oh, how could I?
You know what I mean? So, like, now, would you find it an insult, right? What I find insulting is the fact that now women like this could get ahead, right? Like a chick can go and post a picture of her doing a duck face, get hundreds and hundreds of likes,
Get that blue check
get
DM.
that blue check, and
Mhm.
then get like sponsorships, model
Mhm.
offers.
Mhm.
And it's an insult to the models who actually have to fucking bust their ass,
Oh yeah.
lose weight,
Who
take all the flack.
tried to do it the more traditional route.
Yeah.
I actually know someone from high school like that. That is a cover girl model.
A real model,
A
right?
real
Yeah,
model.
exactly.
Like a real model who diets, who was the female valedictorian.
Disciplined as fuck, probably.
Disciplined.
Oh, she was a
as
valedictorian?
fuck, the female
I need to
valedictorian.
meet this bra. Shit.
She was like the number 3, I think, in our grade. Right?
Yeah.
She was a female valedictorian. I mean, granted, her family had connects. I think her mom was a cover girl model, and she definitely
Yeah.
took after her mother. You know, long legs, lengthy legs, Puerto Rican,
Exactly.
tall,
Yeah.
a lot of legs, looks very slim, very much hourglass figure. So she definitely had the makings there. But the point is, she was very disciplined, right?
And yeah.
She did so much shit that she didn't want to do in life. We talked about this last episode about how that builds character, right? She did so much stuff like that every day. She came from freaking New Jersey to our college prep
Can
school.
I base something off that? Because I'll probably lose my train of thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
At least her failures, and I believe even it was Andrew Tate that even said this. He had a good point. It was like, even if you compete, right? Let's say you compete at a sport
Mhm.
and you fail,
Mhm.
you still get stronger.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's just like your friend there.
Mhm.
She may fail to be a model, but she still develops a lot of character.
100%.
But it's still unfair.
and that's going to benefit her later down
But
the
this
road.
though, CJ,
Mhm.
right? The core issue, the point I'm trying to make
Mhm.
is this law of primes,
Right.
right? It falls into societal standards
Absolutely.
because these girls are being told, oh well, you can have it easy. All you gotta do is find a rich guy, or you
Mhm.
can have it easy. All you gotta do is party on this yacht, or they're getting loads and loads of attention, and honestly, man, it's just a lot of motherfuckers are jealous, bro.
Oh yeah.
It's a jealousy thing, but it's kind of in a rightful way. But you can't really be mad at him for capitalizing
That's the
on
thing.
doing this because, dude, this is a societal thing. Social media is always showing you ass. It's always showing you titties. It's always
that's the
throwing
thing.
pornography in your face, and what it does is it devalues man because we're sitting there. Oh, you can show me your ass. Oh,
keep
I don't really
swiping.
know how to talk to girls, but here's the money for breathing.
Yeah, pretty
You
much.
know?
And actually, that's something I do want to really touch on if we're going to make this law of primes point. It's very, very for men and for women. Okay, if we're going to try and spin this into dating advice, the dating advice that essentially is the same for both parties. It's actually the same reasoning for both parties, just two different ends of that same reasoning, if that makes sense.
And I was telling CJ also, it's all based off of experience.
Mhm.
So these relationship things, like, sure, I can probably give advice, but I can't guarantee you the advice I give you will work because you have to go out there and develop your own experience. That's the thing with all these pickup artists, right? I don't want to go as far as to say as they're phony, but most of them are fucking phony. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you have to be. This is where your instincts as a man, your very nature as a man, has to come into play, and you have to go out and fucking go get rejected. And then overall, what you get rejected, you start to develop the conditioning to not care about getting rejected. So you go shoot your shot, and then maybe this advice that some of these bullshit pickup artists give you
might actually work,
or
bit.
whatever,
Sure,
might work because you're a lot more confident and you're a lot more authentic in yourself. That these chicks will probably see that, and then just maybe, they might give you the time of day. You know what I'm saying?
Possibly, but keep in mind, when you take advice from someone, you always have to look at the source. So the reason that I give advice the way I do to men who are a little bit younger than I or in the same age group than I when it comes to dating is because you have to look at where it's coming from. It's coming from someone who does have a couple businesses on the side, has always had a lucrative part-time job, etc., etc. It's not coming from someone who just works a 9 to 5, goes home and plays video games. So if you're not that person, or if you're not at least ambitious, I wouldn't take this advice. If you are an ambitious young man, I would use the law of primes to your favor and date women who are not in their prime. So, code, what does that mean? That means date older women. So, yes, don't date the 8 to 10, the dime that's your age.
Don't shoot out of your league, pretty much.
Date a MILF.
I can't really fucking doubt you there. Mills, right?
I mean, hey, come on, man. Like, I'm telling you, you'll have a lot better of a time. I can tell you that from personal experience. The first date I ever went on, Marco, that was actually like what I would consider all around a good date and has nothing to do with even hooking up or anything like that, was when I dated my first older chick now about 2 years ago. And she was 32, 33. And that was the first time I ever felt
And
mutual
if I can
respect.
ask you, man, like
Mhm.
what like drove you to date older women? What do you like about older women as opposed? Well, I mean, obviously,
I've always had
you don't have to answer why you don't like women your
two
age.
things.
I get that, but
Two things. I've always had that, and I won't even go on chicks my age because it has nothing to do with them. To be honest with you, it
Fair enough.
really doesn't. I've always been attracted to older women. I've always had that like MILF fantasy, I guess, whatever you want to call it, like since high school.
But can you recall like when and why that happened?
Oh yeah, I can recall exactly when and why.
Was it
that
Stifler's
happened.
mom?
When I when I first gotten out of college, I tried dating an older woman, and to my surprise, because she was very attractive, she let me hook up with her. But guess what? I found myself on the ass end of that spectrum.
Man, but that's what's so good about older women, man. They are so spontaneous.
Well, she let me hook up with her. I thought maybe we liked each other because we also got along a little bit. Asked her out to dinner. She just flat out told me no. She was nice about it.
She just wanted.
She was nice about it. I mean, like, I'll be straight. Like, she was actually very nice about it. She's like, you're a little too young for me. And what that meant code was, hey, you're 22 years old. You're still living in your mom's house. Like,
she's like, yo, I just wanted to ride the
I
young
just
stallion. I just wanted to ride a young stallion.
Like,
I just wanted to take it out for one ride.
Easy on asking me to dinner and all this shit.
Right.
So that's what kind of spurred me to date older women, or why I wanted to always actually date older women. But ironically enough, you know who really like tipped me off to that and why I started dating older women?
Who?
Was your boss.
My boss.
Yes, at your job, which I will not name her name or the job. Oh. However, you know exactly.
She does give the best advice.
She told me straight. She told me straight, and this woman is like 50, 60 years old.
And mind you, she's super fucking shredded.
And she's super conservative and very nice too. She told me straight, you need to date someone in their 30s. So like I was complaining about it. I was complaining about how dissatisfied I was with chicks my age, and she was like, "Oh no, someone like you need someone in their 30s." And I was like, "You know what, Miss C, I'm gonna try that," and I did, and it was great advice. It really was. You finally get to go on a date with someone who you find physically attractive.
The same ever since, huh, CJ?
Well,
man, your whole world was just turned
upside
down.
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? I'd never been.
You got a taste of that sweet old honey.
Well, because here it is. At the end of the day, let's like, yes, my ex is very attractive. She's a MILF, but like, let's throw that out of the picture. When you as a man finally get that respect on the date, when you finally get more than just a woman sitting there on their phone for 70 to 75% of the time.
Let me ask you this, DJ. Do you feel like she addressed you
absolutely
better as a person than any other chick that you think you would have dated
in every sense? Yes. She made me feel more like a man. Even when she would do stuff like try and pay the bill, she would make me feel like a man. She would try and pay the bill for me, and I'd be like, no, like, you're not doing that. I'm way more of a traditional guy than I know most dudes are my age. I'm not going to sit here and go out with an older woman who's making money just to take advantage of that.
No wonder she wanted you to marry her, dude.
Well, I mean, she also wanted me to marry her within a month, so that's why that didn't work out.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. Some people go for it. Some people take that leap.
Don't know if I'm going to put that in.
It's like, to me, that's like a leap, man. That's like when, the scene in The Matrix when Morpheus jumps out the window, Neo catches him. Except you jumping out that window and Neo ain't there to catch you, man.
It's like that meme. It's like that meme of the husky jumping off the cliff, and it's like decisions made in anger cannot be
I didn't really
undone.
watch that meme. I didn't really see that meme.
That meme with the dog.
You'll have to show me when the show's over.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
But getting back to what we were saying, my dating advice is coming from a guy like myself. And if you don't fall in that category, or if you are seriously a 40-something-year-old dude listening to this, don't even listen.
Your
to
time
it,
is
dude.
up. If you're
Time
listening
is
to
up.
this and you're past the age of
Your prime is
45,
gone
yo,
already.
give up.
Like you missed your chance. Just like I would tell a woman who missed her chance when she was 18 to 28, I will tell a guy who's now 40, 43, who's bitching about life, you missed your chance. The ship has sailed.
Yeah, because if you
Oh,
spent all that time bitching in your 40s, that means you've probably been bitching your whole life. You're never going to
and you didn't
change.
do
At
anything
that
about
point,
it.
you are set in your ways.
So I actually think that's a great segue. Let's talk about being ambitious, and let's talk about the perks of being ambitious, especially for men. As I just stated,
Well,
if you
what does ambition mean to you, CJ?
ambition means you have something, whatever that thing is, that you get up every day and it drives you. Whatever that's a higher purpose. Andrew Tate has given 3 examples, and I think they are very good because it lends to everyone. God, right? But let's say not everyone believes. That's fine. You
Yeah.
don't believe in the good book, you don't believe in God. Cool. Spirituality. Not everyone believes in spirituality. A lot of people will sit there and argue spirituality and religion are the same thing. They're completely different, right? Okay? Throw that out the window if you don't believe that either. There's one thing no one can deny: your ancestors. You're sitting here watching this video, or sitting here in this room, or sitting in your car listening to this podcast. Your ancestors have done something. There has been somewhere down your family lineage where your ancestors had to survive some shit. There is not one person on this earth that can go back and say, yeah, my ancestors were never affected by World War One, World War Two, the let's see, influenza, 1918. You can take it all the way back to the freaking bubonic plague. No, if you're sitting here, if you're alive, there was someone in your family that had to overcome something, that had to survive, essentially. So,
And now here we are in 2023, and nobody really has to use those instincts anymore.
well, guess what? That's why it's not. That's why it's advantageous to be ambitious. And if you want a higher power, a higher purpose to be ambitious, to be dedicated, you should at least look at your ancestors, because there's no argument. Someone can't tell me I don't believe in that. Someone, no, like
Yeah,
you're
but
sitting
see,
here.
anybody with a feeble mind is going to say though that their ancestors had to endure that, not them. You know,
So you're
easy.
gonna
It's
make
easy to take for granted
you're
though.
gonna make that sacrifice go
But
in
it's easy
vain.
to take
You know,
advantage though, man. Like look who built our country, right? And it's easy to take that for granted.
right,
You know, it was built by a bunch of immigrants, you
right.
know, and it was a great prosperous country. But now what? We don't have to hunt for food anymore. We don't have to. We motherfuckers could just DoorDash things now.
I
Things
was
could get delivered and brought. Now they have motherfucking drones that can drop shit off now, dude. It defeats the entire purpose of what
real.
we're supposed to do as humans.
For real, absolutely. And that's why it's very, very scary, the trap that you can fall into in modern day Western society, where you're just not ambitious. You hear a lot about in these podcasts that a lot of men have just given up. The average man
Well,
has
a
just
lot
given
of
up.
men though, CJ, haven't really, and that's the whole point of our show, right? Is to
Mhm.
try to hopefully we can shine a light in men and women alike, and help introduce them to ambition, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of people don't know any better. They don't
Mhm.
know how to be ambitious. They don't have a path. They weren't never taught. You know, I need to walk
Well,
this path. I need to find this way.
I think in a lot of ways, society piles on top of that. Not even just third wave feminism, not even coming at it from that aspect. You look at the demasculization of men. You look at the fact that like men make these videos about how to like put on makeup and like, oh, it's okay to do this and be extremely feminine and to cry. And it's like, no, look, like I understand. Trust me, as a man,
See, look, man.
every man once in a while needs to
Yeah,
cry, needs to let out emotion.
yeah.
It's natural. We're human
But here's the
beings.
thing about that, though, CJ. It's okay for them to do that, you know, because hey, it's free platform, whatever, right? But it's whenever it becomes conveyed to the point where they try to normalize it and try to tell
Mhm.
people like you and
Mhm.
me that we're
Oh,
istaphobes or we're this and that because we think that man's a fucking
dude,
bitch.
there was a whole thing not too long ago, about a year or two ago, where it was actually this entire war between quote unquote, and I hate even saying this because it's so racial, it's not even funny, the black community and the trans community. The trans
Between
community,
both of them?
yeah. So basically, the trans community was saying that the black community is transphobic because black men won't sleep with
Oh,
trans.
that's a fucking.
I'm like, are you out of your mind?
Oh, that's a
Because
reach. They're just mad because black male, dude. I think. I mean, you're half black, right?
yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
like what they use that term, the DL.
Yes.
Do you not understand? Like black men, dude, they will knock you out in a minute just for fucking acting gay.
That no shit. Like
You know what I mean? Like
Like, so when they come with
It
this,
reminds me of that skit that Dave Chappelle said. Remember when he was talking about how he was smoking around a white boy and they put a fucking banana up his ass and shit? God, I love that special, dude.
dude, he is really
What a fucking
a
legend.
philosopher
Oh, I
and a
know.
comedian.
He
Chappelle.
is, man. He is
great,
a
dude.
philosopher disguised as a
He
comedian,
is
man.
amazing. But like, dude, that's why like this shit about men not being traditionally masculine, men not being ambitious, which kind of does all go together, is I think poison in a lot of
But
ways for the young
CJ,
man.
it's progressivism.
Fuck that. At the end of at the end of the day, no, it's hurting society as a whole, because when you have traditionally masculine, traditionally ambitious men, what you will have is a safer society.
Yeah.
Because if you are traditionally masculine, you are supposed to protect others that cannot protect themselves. If some shit is going down in a store and a
Yeah.
woman is getting beaten, right? Or no, let's use the age-old example: an old woman is getting robbed for her purse.
Yeah.
What is a traditional man supposed to do? You're supposed to go and you're supposed to tackle that dude who's robbing her, beat the shit out of him, and give the old lady her purse
Oh, don't
back.
do that. You go to jail, bro. Don't do that. You go to jail.
Oh
If
yeah,
doing some
yeah.
shit like
Now
that,
that's what I mean. Now you do that, you might be, if you're living in California or New York, your ass gonna be in jail for a night. So why do you think, right? Why do you think most people in those states, not just men, women too, will just sit there and just record? They won't do anything.
man. But that
Right.
just sounds like it's just been something that's just been instilled, man. It's just a
Absolutely.
bunch of like
Absolutely.
lost sheep.
It has been
You know,
instilled.
it's like
it
because if you think about the way it is, nobody really teaches anybody how to like think for themselves. You don't fucking know, bro.
it's one of the most eye-opening things, and I can tell you, from spending about $250,000 on a private university and an additional $38,000 in loans, they yeah,
Damn, boy.
they that's private university, boy. You ain't talking to public now. You talking to private. You
Talking
you
private.
talking 40, 45 a
talking
year.
PU, huh? Dang.
When I was going, it was exactly $47,000 a year. That's when I was a freshman. When I got out as a senior, it was 53 already.
You paid 53 G's.
No, because
Hold on, you paid 47 G's.
I paid 47
to
because
never be taught how to use your brain.
exactly, and not do taxes and not do finances and not do.
And I'm supposed to be a fool because I don't have a college degree.
Exactly. Even though you are talking to someone who has a dual major in clinical biology and business administration and cannot tell you how to do their taxes.